My name is Danny Fernandez. I'm from East Bay, California, and I'm 36 years old. I've had visual snow for about a little over a year and a half. I noticed that I had visual snow January 23rd, 2017. I was watching a movie with my girlfriend, and I remember looking at her face, and I thought something's weird, and her entire face was just pixelated. I compared to like the old school 80s TVs. It was just, thousands of dots, grainy, and they were colored. And that was the first time I noticed it. Well, like anyone, I jumped online and I didn't know what to look for. Initially, I didn't know what to Google, so I just Googled grainy vision, visual static, and that's when I, kind of the ball started rolling. Figured out what it was. Then I learned that this was actual thing. I had actually experienced a few symptoms before the visual snow came about. I had a really gnarly panic attack in October the year before. I was in New York visiting a friend, was just overcome with panic. Never happened to me before ever in my life. And then I got eye floaters the next month. I remember I was kayaking here at a local lake and I just noticed tons of eye floaters. And that's kind of where I would say that's when the ball really started rolling, where I developed all these symptoms that I couldn't really explain. I got my eyes looked at by 2 optometrists and an ophthalmologist. Both said, your eyes are super healthy, and there's nothing wrong, retina's good. With the exception of the eye floaters, everything looks great. And then obviously I noticed the visual snow, and that's when I kind of learned that all of these things were tied together, and I just started doing research. My biggest, I would say my chief complaint is pain. After January is when I started getting migraines, these gnarly, debilitating migraines, migraine auras, kind of my grainy, not so much grainy vision, but trembling, kind of shaky vision. And it would just overcome with pain. I've never had to deal with migraines before my entire life. Was not the type of person to walk around with like Tylenol on their person, and now I'm getting these daily debilitating migraines. And I went through the ringer with neurologists, got MRIs, CT scans, everything checked out, no issues. So it was very difficult at first, having anxiety, pain, and very little answers. Doctors really didn't give me anything too useful. There were very few doctors, I would say probably about 3 doctors of the 10 overall that I've spoken to who know what visual snow is, but not necessarily have kind of a treatment protocol for visual snow. It was mainly to treat the symptoms of the pain. So, a lot of doctors prescribed me initially antidepressants, and then anti-seizure medication, anticonvulsants, and things like that. None of which really helped. With the anxiety, I would say they helped a little bit, but as I mentioned, I'm not the type of person that really relied on medication and pharmaceuticals before, so I decided that just to quit the antidepressants cold turkey and took my anxiety head on, and made changes and tried new things that I'd never done before: yoga, mindfulness, meditation, all which really helped the anxiety, the derealization, the depersonalization, get rid of that, the depression. Because I wasn't getting any answers, things got really dark for me, especially the summer of last year. But I would say after about 8 months of just focusing on, treating my anxiety and my panic disorder, the derealization, it finally just went away. I was persistent. I made sure that I worked on it every day, and a lot of things also that I did: change my diet. I gave up alcohol, refined sugar, processed foods, all of which were pretty hard, especially the beer, I would say. But those more than, I would say, pharmaceuticals or anything that a doctor prescribed really helped deal with the anxiety. Not so much the visual snow. That has been constant. All of the visual symptoms have been pretty constant. They haven't changed. But getting rid of the anxiety, the depersonalization, the derealization, the depression, that's all really helped just deal with my visual snow on a day-to-day basis. with the exception of the pain. The way that I would describe the world is, it's kind of like looking at, you're kind of experiencing the world through not somebody else's eyes. It doesn't feel like, I don't feel like me anymore. If, you know, it's colors, the contrasts are a lot brighter. So greens are greener, reds are redder, I don't know. And things are just brighter. Sensitivity to sun. You just can't be outside anymore with kind of squinting and, you know, but definitely, you know, there's movement. There's a lot of movement. And the trailing with the after images is pretty difficult. I always describe them when I close my eyes or when I'm looking at something that's dark against a light background or vice versa. I can see the silhouette of what I'm looking at, and it follows me, whether my eyes are open or closed. And it's in the form of light. So it's pretty weird. Sometimes when I look at people, I can kind of see an aura around them. For me, visual snow, it's affected my life. It's been pretty hard to enjoy the things that I used to. You know, I find myself looking at the sky and, you know, all the colors, and it's you know, no matter how beautiful something is, it's tainted with all this other stuff that I have to look at. And you know, also I would say visual snow has affected my life in terms of the pain that I feel. It's very difficult to get up in the morning and feel like a 36-year-old. I feel like I'm 90, you know, and it's just this constant pain, stiff neck, tightness in my head, ringing, and it makes it hard to be productive, and so that in turn kind of, you know, affects me mentally. But I would say I'm kind of got a grasp on the mental side more, you know. I know that this isn't going to kill me, and I'm not going to go blind from it, and so that provides some type of relief. I watch what I eat now. I take a lot of supplements, you know, the regular omegas, vitamin E. I do, you know, like a lot of detoxing, you know, just to boost my immune system. I do infrared saunas. I make sure I eat healthy. You know, I've tried acupuncture, chiropractor, just to help with pain. And mainly it's, you know, watch what I eat and try to move, as difficult as it is just try and move and be active. I wasn't able to do so much of the things that I used to do. Before I was really active, I travel. You know, getting on a plane and doing a 15-hour plane ride was cakewalk for me. Now, you know, doing an hour plane ride is really rough. Being active is hard. I always describe to doctors, I feel like I have the strength to do the things that I need to do. I just don't have the energy. It's kind of like a really fast supercar with poor fuel. The biggest misconception I think about visual snow is that you know, it's just something that one can easily ignore. You know, you tell people that it's just dots and, you know, after images and things like that. Well, that must be fun. It's like, you know, being on a hallucinogenic, and it really isn't. And so I would say that that's one of the biggest misconceptions, is people don't understand. They take their vision for granted, and it really isn't something enjoyable or something that's easily ignorable.